Is Iran cracking? Is there an internal revolution? What is happening with this so-called immortal force, the immortal guard within Iran? Is this a thing? What is happening with Donald Trump's planned or apparent upcoming attacks? Is Donald Trump going to violate the War Powers Act, or has he found a loophole through it? There's a lot of stuff on the table right now. So here's what you need to know. For one, there have been reports of attacks. There have been reports of a big explosion in Iran that was said to kill 14 members of the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, what we don't know is the nature of this, because there are several YouTube channels that have come out and said that this is a rebellion or revolution against the IRGC. They have said that some of them have attributed this to the Immortal Guard. Now, the Immortal Guard goes back in history to the days of the Greeks. And in fact, the late Shah Pahlavi actually had his personal security forces, which allegedly were a derivative of that guard. They called them the Immortal Guard. And so some are saying the Immortal Guard is attacking the RGC today. And so I'm checking out the news medium saying, well, okay, how come I'm not seeing this in my multiple news? I got these news aggregate things that I go to, and I got multiples, and not a one of them was saying a peep about that, or even the attack on the RGC members that RGC members have been getting. Now, these news aggregators pull news from many different news sources. Not a one reported a single thing about this. I'm going, okay, this is interesting. So I went to my AI and I said, okay, AI, what is going on here? I'm hearing reports of the Immortal Guard attacking IRGC members. And indeed, there was an explosion. There were 14 IRGC members killed. But according to the AI, it agreed with the Iranian news source, the Fars News, and the other internal Iranian news sources said, "Oh, this was just an accidental explosion." Now, since when should we be taking the internal, Iranian news sources verbatim, taking their story? Now, indeed, it might be true. It might be true. But there sure have been a lot of other people out attributing the taking of these 14 RGC members to internal resistance. Speaking of internal resistance, Donald Trump is actually mad at the Kurds. Apparently, he did send small arms through the Kurds, which were supposed to go to the protesters that never got there. The Kurds said, "Oh yeah, hey, we got some bang bangs. This is what we want." Never got there. So apparently he did try to arm the protesters. That's what I said needed to happen all along. Yeah, we just need to parachute some in. That's what needs to happen. We need to get them means to defend themselves and just parachute drop them in. But what is really, now I have heard rumors that they are arming themselves, but that's in the rumor mill. Right now, we've got the fog of war. The fog of war can be seen through things like the reports that the Immortal Guard is active now and taking out members of the RGC, which may or may not be true. You know, the fact that no major news source in the United States that I could find, and I went through several, like I said, I got three major news aggregators, which pull in news from many multiple sources, and not one of them said jack diddle about it. Yet several YouTube channels was reporting it as being the Immortal Guard. Others were just saying, okay, the RGC is under attack, and some were saying the RGC is in fear now. I hope that's true. And I really hope it is some internal resistance and giving the RGC some pause, because the RGC is basically, given the leadership vacuum, performed a coup, because the RGC is not considered the government of Iran. This is part of what has been part of the internal strife over things like the Speaker of the Parliament, going and negotiating for the terms of a ceasefire or a treaty to end the war, and they basically called him on the carpet for it. And he came back and he ceased the negotiations. And at first, Aragachi, who's the foreign minister of Iran, was also, under house arrest, threatened with execution. And suddenly they decided he could go out and negotiate because he took a hardline view. But, you got to consider who's the government. The government typically was headed first and foremost by the supreme leader. And it seems the supreme leader, his selection was really forced by the RGC to be Mustafa Khamenei, the son of Ali Khamenei. So even though he probably can't say anything, he's probably comatose almost in a hospital somewhere, if still alive. Still haven't seen him. Supposing he writes messages and sends them out theoretically. Maybe he does. Supposing one of these went to Putin, or is this coming straight from RGC? Has the RGC staged a coup, and now there's a counter coup going on? The parliament is supposed to be part of the government, but they've been kind of sidelined in all this, and they're probably not too happy with that. So there are, there's various bodies within Iran that had power. The RGC is apparently seized the main power. The Artesh is the military of Iran, but it is subverted under the RGC for the most part. So there's a lot cooking over there in terms of internal strife, it looks like. So when Donald Trump, says, hey, we don't even know who to negotiate with, there's something to be said for that. Originally when he says, yeah, we're talking with somebody, there's somebody we're talking with that was promising early on. That was actually the head of the parliament of Iran, but suddenly he's had his wings clipped because he wanted to negotiate. The RGC don't want to negotiate. But even the negotiations, what they're putting out, they never offer their nuclear materials up as part of the negotiation. That's really when the bottom line comes to that's all Trump wants. He wants that more than the Strait of Hormuz. So Trump has basically come out and says, we don't need a peace deal. And, that's basically what it boils down to. We really don't need a peace deal. We could just choke them out. That's really what could happen. We could just say, hey, we'll just keep this blockade going until you just cease to be a regime at all. You'll just, you'll fall apart. But there are some forces that want to accelerate that. And apparently a plan has been drafted. We don't know all the details, but alleged it includes ground troops taking areas around the Strait of Hormuz to open the Strait of Hormuz, or maybe going in after the enriched uranium, which is not an easy task by any order. The Iranians are threatening to strike back in mass, and they're threatening a lot of things. Now, they have had a couple of weeks to dig out a lot of their missiles and drones. A lot of the production facilities have been destroyed, but they still have missile launchers and drones that were buried in tunnels. Some of those tunnels were sealed by some of the previous bombing, but it don't take a lot to dig that out. So apparently they're digging this stuff out and erecting it. And like I said, Hicks said some time back, we're watching you. We know where all this stuff is. We see you. And so apparently now we got a lot more firepower over there than we had the first go around. Even more, Israel did a lot of damage in that 12-day war by themselves. Now the Israeli forces are there. We got 3 aircraft carrier strike groups in the area. We've got the USS Tripoli. I don't know why I couldn't remember the Tripoli's name the other night. I just had brain lock. That is the so-called amphibious assault ship, which is really a miniature aircraft carrier that's carrying the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, the Boxer with the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit, somewhere over in the Strait of Hormuz, close to the Malacca Strait, over in Indonesia. So that carrier strike, they actually may stay there because we've got some ocean-wide interdiction going now. So maybe they're not even trying to get to Iran. I don't know. If we want to control China, that's where you do it from. And the boxer is in the best location for shutting down traffic through that strait, if that's where the Trump administration wants to go, if he sees us getting involved with China or just however they want to sit, because this so-called blockade is not just a blockade right there at the strait, right there at the Sea of Oman. It's ocean-wide, which is a different thing. And seeing that we could run a blockade like that has got China really concerned, because they realize now that we can really shut down their oil. And if they invade Taiwan, we don't have to come over them their anti-access aerial denial system, the AAAD missile defense system they've set up to take our carriers out. We don't have to do that to basically bring them to their knees. They might fall to their knees that fast, but after the oil's been shut off as long as it has been recently, yeah, they'll go to their knees a lot faster than they would have ordinarily. So China has really got their eyes on this. They got their puckered up. They're pretty tight, if you know what I'm talking about, that bottom sphincter muscle. So they are paying some attention. They are at some high degree of risk here. So all that said, here's what's going down. Probably there will be strikes. Let's go back to this 60-day War Powers Act. That technically would have timed out before the 1st of May, right toward the end of February, probably the 28th or so, or 27th, because it's a 60-day thing. We started the attacks on the 28th of February, the last day of February. Now, all that taken together, you have to consider that Trump is putting out that, hey, we terminated the conflict. We terminated the military operations on the 7th of April when we did the ceasefire. He says the clock stopped. And Hexeth is maintaining the same thing. And Trump has further stipulated he believes the entire War Powers Act is unconstitutional. Now, that could be because there was no amendment to the Constitution. It was just a congressional bill that passed. So, but the Constitution is kind of murky between the powers of Congress and the powers of the president, commander in chief, when it comes to matters of war. So the War Powers Act was a bill that tried to address that, but was that bill in and of itself sufficient? Should there have been an amendment to the Constitution? A really good question. So the fact is that this is still deemed by some to be open to interpretation. So, and this whole thing that he can claim the clock stopped with a ceasefire. It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue against that on a legalistic basis. Therefore, if Trump is betting on that, then he would have within the 60-day window another 3 weeks to operate. Now, what they're talking about is short, decisive strikes, but ground troops going into operation does not sound like short, decisive strikes. So we're hearing two different stories. We're hearing a story, we're going to hit them hard and fast, and we're hearing stories of we'll put ground troops on the ground. It could be fast, but if we're going to dig out materials, enriched materials, that's not going to be fast. That's going to be at least a few days. You can't afford to be at it too long because then your troops are going to get hammered. But to go in and actually doing a dig and extraction operation is something as deadly and fragile as uranium hexafluoride and little cubes around little metal cylinders. That is going to be exceedingly difficult. I'm not going to say it can't be done, but it's going to be exceedingly difficult and probably very expensive to our forces. So how is that to be dealt with? A lot of questions in these things coming up. So hang on, my voice is getting kind of raspy here. Gotta have some water, agua. So the bottom line is Iran may be cracking. We may be seeing signs of that. And if they're not cracking yet, they will be soon. Will we hit Karg Island is another big question. Will we take Karg Island? What will happen with that? I don't think we're going to try to take it. But if we take it out, that would do horrendous damage to the economy of Iran and their ability to recover. And that may be why Trump is saying, hey, we don't need a deal. But also saying we don't need a deal is kind of an underhanded statement that, hey, we're just going to blast the heck out of you and leave. And when we leave, you're going to be so withered, you're not going to be able to do much. And the regime there may know that that could be an existential threat to them, which could lead to their undoing internally. If there's not already an immortal guard taking out units or members of the IRGC, then there may be one coming up. That could arise because the son of the Shah, the prince, so-called crown prince in exile, Pahlavi, he's actually made references to the immortal god, or immortal guard, rising up and taking action back in March, I believe it was. So we'll have to see. Reza Pahlavi, that's his name, Reza Pahlavi. Anyway, that's the exile, the crown prince. I don't know how you can be a crown prince when you're exiled. But anyway, so it's not like he's had a crown put on his head, but I guess that kind of works. Uh, he is the son of the late Shah. So anyway, we'll have to go into this and show you some news articles on this stuff. There's just a lot going down right now, a lot happening, and things could go bang, bang real fast. But I find this really interesting on this idea that this immortal guard may have risen up and maybe taken action. And maybe the big story is it's not really getting in our news. You'll find it on some YouTube channels. But I didn't want to just jump out with a story because a bunch of YouTubers are wagging on it, because a lot of times they get off on tangents that sometimes prove to be not true. I've seen that very frequently. But indeed, there were 14 RGC members taken out, and there was an explosion involved in it. Now, the question is, was it accidental, like the Iranian sources quoted, or otherwise? Highly interesting. See, what they claim, what the Iranian sources claimed, was there was an unexploded munition that took them out. So we shall see. We shall see. Maybe we'll never know. But anyway, if there is an uprising, we'll start to see it. Some people are thinking that the protesters who've been told to lay low until we finish their strikes might be getting restless. One thing that's impeded their activity has been that Iran to shut them down, shut down the internet. But shutting down the internet also does severe damage to the Iranian economy. So that is, yeah, they're suffering inside Iran right now. And part of it is from the RGC's own hand because they're afraid of their own people. That's why they've got such a large internal security force, the Bashi's forces of the IRGC. And that's what you find with authoritarian countries, is that they usually have huge internal security forces. China does too. China's internal security force is bigger than their military, as big as their military is, because they fear their own people. And if you fear your own people, you are a tyranny. No country that fears its own people is not a tyranny. And again, the government should fear its own people in a sense, in order to, just to stay in check. But they don't stay in check. So there you are, my friends. In any event, let me share some articles here. Hang on. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Give me a second, folks. And by the way, my previous video, I hadn't posted any video for a few days. The last one I posted was Friday. I recorded it on Thursday. And it did so poorly in terms of views, I was considering whether or not to do any more videos, to be honest. Because I put about 16 hours into it, made a whopping $4. That's about a quarter an hour. But somebody did sign up for my service here. I'm going, okay, then maybe it's worth it. But, 600 views. My viewership is dropping like a rock. I'm guessing 2 or 3 days there'll be no viewers on my channel the way it's going. Seriously, guys, y'all have to go to my channel and look to see if I put out a video, apparently. Because one of the comments I got on the video is, well, I hadn't seen any, you haven't been in my news feed in a long time. I put out videos all the time. So yeah, sometimes you got to check, go in and check. Because this network is trying to shut me down, obviously. YouTube don't want me on here. I got a Galactic Greg's channel, which is don't ever talk politics on, but because it's me, they stomp on it too. But lately, because the topic, I've been getting a lot of views over on the Amy Heritage subject. But none of them almost come from notifications from YouTube. It's coming from other sources. So it's like, okay, I got videos that's doing really well. When videos do really well, the algorithms are supposed to say, show this. They're not doing it. It's not coming from YouTube. Imagine that, guys. YouTube is trying to put me out of business. So if you don't want me going out of business, help me out by one, watching my channel, and two, you can help me out here too and help yourself out because I've been telling you guys I'm going to do some more videos on this thing. I think if I keep doing videos, this is a chance to get away from the contaminated products I've been telling you guys about. I've been telling you about all these products that are contaminated. And we're talking chemicals, we're talking heavy metals, we're talking a bunch of other stuff. And part of the reasons for that is that even a whole lot of your consumer brands, it used to be some pretty decent products, have been bought out and acquired by corporate mergers that are now controlled by just 12 main companies. And this is over 550 different brands. Well, these big main companies' main objective is to save money, not to do anything for you. So, in order to increase shelf life and to cut cost, they made a lot of substitutions into formulas that went into a lot of these original products. And sometimes it's not at all what used to be like in interior of an Oreo cookie. It's not something you really ought to consider eating, to be honest. But what they've done to maintain the flavor and texture, they add even more chemicals to it. So that's something to watch out for, my friends. The substitutions are not what you want. But we have a whole lot. I used to feed my kids the Cheerios when they were little. But now that I know what I know about Cheerios, I'd never do that again. Now, never would do it again. I thought I was doing the right thing. A lot of times, a lot of things you think is the right thing to do, you learn a lot more later. But these 12 companies here are big powerhouses that aren't there to serve you. They're there to take your money. And my friends, these big companies have controlling interest in them, those big conglomerates, by the three big asset management companies, which are controlling most of large corporate America, unfortunately. And furthermore, if you didn't know, BlackRock was founded, which is the largest one now. A couple of these go way back. State Street is real old. Vanguard, these are older companies, but BlackRock was founded and is run by Larry Fink. And Mr. Larry Fink also, through his BlackRock, has been grabbing houses and assets around the country. And because he can buy them cheaper than regular people, because he's a big company, he's got deals with banks, he can get lower interest rates, so they can just scarf up a lot of real estate. And their plan is to rent it back to you at a higher price. But he also is the guy who took over the position of Klaus Schwab, and runs the World Not So Economic Forum. And today, and that is the organization that slipped up and told you guys at one point that you would have no privacy, you would own nothing, and you'd be happy. They're the ones that told you to eat the bugs, and it's trying to get you to live in these 15-minute cities and ride around on tricycles while there's jet setting above you and flying around in private jets and dining on steak and caviar. So, my friends, when you buy these products, every time you buy this stuff, you are inadvertently supporting the House of Klaus, because if you go there and look under the partnership program, it's the big companies that fund them. So you're doing yourself a double favor by getting away from the contaminants and getting away from supporting the House of Klaus. So two good reasons to get away from that, to switch away, and the best way to switch away is to come to switchwithgreg.com. I promised you this guys, this stuff probably about 3 or 4 months before I set this website up. It took me a little time to get everything lined up. We found an American company, family owned, not part of the big conglomerate anything. It's family owned. American company, makes all their products in America, doesn't have the chemicals in it, all the other junk. And they tested extensively for consumer safety. Even the cleaners are plant-based. So that's all good news. Jobs right here, not everywhere else. So if you come to switchwithgreg.com, fill out this form. I set this website up. The data comes just to me, and my assistant, Lisa, will be getting back to you to get you on board with this. All right, enough on that. I've been on this long enough. So let's move on. But this one way you can help yourself, not support the World Economic Forum, and help me all. And you can kill 3 birds with 1 stone. And that's why I'm coming back here, is to give you guys this chance. Because making a quarter an hour for work is killing me. So anyway, detonation of unexploded bombs in Iran reportedly kills 14 Revolutionary Guards. So now this is Times of Israel, and they're not a fan of Iran. So the fact that they're reporting it this way, it might be that, may not be what a lot of the YouTubers are out there claiming, that it's the immortal guard. So time will tell. If we see a lot more of this, then that's how to know. Are we going to see a lot more of this? I had heard that some of the RGC members were getting taken out, assassinated, in onesie twosies. Sometimes like their cars would be bombed or something like that. So we shall see. If we see a lot more reports of this, it might be an internal resistance. I don't know if it's immortal guard or not, but it could be an internal resistance. But then again, it could be what the Times of Israel is carrying it this way. But then maybe they're not wanting to blow the cover of the immortal guard themselves, because they may be working with them through the Mossad. Who knows? That's the most likely. The Mossad is heavily infiltrated into Iran. Heavily infiltrated. But here it is, the immortals from the, I don't even know how you say it, the Achaemenian Empire. It goes back to in fact, it was the Greeks that named them that, this infantry force. Depiction of the Susian guards. This is back in the days of Darius. So, yeah, this goes way back. You might remember the movie The 300. It depicted on the Iranian side, what they were facing, the Persians that were coming at them were the immortal guard. And it was supposed to have been the worst of the worst that Persia could throw at you. But the 300, headed by Unitas, basically held them off for quite a while till they finally succumbed. But they held them off for a long time. 300 holding off a giant army in a pass. So in any event, just to show you that Pahlavi, I had it dialed up. We're just talking about this. Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince, is talking about him. Is it still highlighted in here? No. Had it highlighted, had it dialed up, and what happens? Poof. When I open it, I could see it before I opened. I could see it look like it was highlighted. And I click on it. It's gone. Oh, I hate this browser stuff. Groups inside the country. Oh, here it is. This is a Pahlavi quote. Groups inside the country, members of the Immortal Guard, through organizations and coordinated work, have the ability to deliver further blows from within. Many of the developments we have seen in the country did not occur spontaneously, but were the result of organized work. The Immortal Guard is born from the people themselves, Pahlavi said. At this stage, it plays a defensive role, helping protect people's lives and striking institutions that the authoritarians use to spread fear and violence. So there you are. Now, but this article was from back in March. And there he is, Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince, who thinks maybe he can take over and become. He's pledged if he is put in charge of the Iranian government, that'll be pro-Western, and he will set things up and move toward full elections. We shall see. Hopefully he would. Anyway, so, and again, Trump got a new proposal from Iran, peace proposal, and apparently they're still not talking uranium. So he says he's not satisfied with it. And a lot of people believe, well, that's the sure sign that the war is about to come. That, you know, the Iran's latest and best after all the threats is still to come up with something that doesn't give up the uranium. So there you have it. So Trump administration says that its war in Iran has been terminated before the 16-day deadline. This is what was mentioned earlier. The ceasefire started on the 7th of April. So theoretically, if he can make that claim, then he's got 3 weeks of latitude to bomb the snot out of Iran, and given all the assets in the region, they could do just that. Now, be it known that in the previous round, Iran actually did hit 16 U.S. military bases and said that one of them was taken out. And I'd seen reports that a lot of the troops were actually operating out of hotels. They weren't even operating out of their base because their base was so at risk from the missiles and drone strikes, because they took out the radars of our air defense systems. They really, you know, when you saturate attack with drones, it's something. And I've just done 2 videos on drones, and the viewership was nowhere. And that's just content you really need to look at. Maybe you didn't get a notification of it. So I'll show you the latest one here in a minute. But guys, you need to look at these videos. One of them was just showing how vulnerable our power grid is. So I'll go back to that in a minute. But anyway, so drones are changing everything about war. And we'll talk about that some more in the future, maybe. I was going to do a 3rd video on that series. I really got to second guess that now because it's doing so dismally bad. But it's the stuff you guys need to hear, probably more about anything else on YouTube. But anyway, again, this is Hegseth also hammering in that, yes, we can prosecute the war despite that War Powers Act. And he's mainly also going back to that 60-day limit and the ceasefire. He's just taking it from a little different angle than what Trump did, but it's the same message. So here we got retired U.S. general is saying Trump only has one option, and just one option on retired General Jack Keane. And the option, he says, bomb Iran. There's nothing else. Bomb them. Bomb them to smithereens. And probably that's the case. About to pull the American military. Oh, yeah, we're pulling out of Germany, too. There's talks of 5,000 troops being pulled out of Germany. Mainly because Germany just wasn't playing with us, and so apparently we're going to move them to Poland. Poland's a lot friendlier than the United States, and now Germany's crying about it because they're going to lose a lot of economic whatever. Well, FAFO, Germany. Same to you, Britain. And Keir Starmer, sorry for all the other, a lot of good people in Great Britain. A lot of good people in the United Kingdom, let me put it that way, because the United Kingdom is a little bit bigger than Great Britain, sorry. But anyway, hopefully you guys can get Keir Starmer off your neck in the not too distant future. So, of course, Trump's already saying, but you know, hey, we've already won. But there's a lot of talk about. Is this article? Let me scroll it. Trying to scroll it, ain't doing it. There we go. Yeah, I had it pulled up on something, but I don't like it's where I wanted it to be, text wise. So It's just about tightening the noose on Iran. Top commanders have shown him some, new plans. I guess that's his new F-47. We'll just go through it. So again, what they're talking about is potentially boots on the ground and or just a quick strike. Ow, all this pop-up stuff's killing me. But it's better than ad blocker. Ad blocker turned out to be the worst viral thing I ever had on my computer. I don't know. Yikes. But the ads can be very annoying. I can't even pull up the headline. Anyway, Donald Trump may escalate the war. We know that. Ground troops, I already said it. Possibly trying to open the Strait of Hormuz. Possibly going in to get the uranium hexafluoride out. There's not just chunks of uranium. It's mixed. It's in a gas with hexafluoride. It's uranium hexafluoride gas. It's not dust. It's not chunks, but that makes it even harder to get out because now you're dealing with a highly corrosive, highly radioactive, highly toxic from many different dimensions gas. It is nasty, and it's in little old tubes around a metal cylinder, little fragile tubes. Not the kind of stuff you want to be handling and moving around in military operation. Trust me, that's going to be complex. Here is the short, powerful wave of strikes. So we're just going to bomb the snot out and get out, or are we going to put troops on the ground? Short and powerful. How do you mix that? You can mix that with putting troops in them. When we did it in Venezuela, we sent some guys in. They grabbed Maduro and got out. Bing, bing, in out. We could do some, but you're not going to get the uranium hexafluoride in that manner. If you're going to try to secure the Strait of Hormuz, you might do it in out just to attack certain facilities there on the ground, like throwing some bombs in that the bombers can't reach. Like we had the guy tunnel rats back in World War II in the Vietnam War, because the Japanese and both the Viet Cong like to put their troops down in tunnels. So we had guys going in the tunnels with big flamethrowers and basically scorching them out. That was quite a talent that some of our troops had. That some of the shorter troops excelled at that job, maybe more than some of the bigger, taller guys, because they get around those tunnels a lot more nimbly, and they'd take them flamethrowers in there, and yeah, they would really do a job. Well, a whole lot of the stuff in Iran is in tunnels, so flamethrowers are probably not adequate to the job, but it might be you're going in with shoulder fired missiles or something like that, man pads that you're going to use not on aircraft, but in stored missiles underground. I don't know what they're going to do, but stored drones. So big questions about how they're going to conduct that. See, my viewers dropped from 80 something to 77. That's interesting. Okay, guys. If you're not liking what I'm putting out, tell me why. I got a couple thumbs down on my last video, but nobody told me why. Okay, is this thing not going to advance? What's going on here? Am I crashing? I'll stop this share and start it over. Hang on. Hello. Looks like I'm still here. I think I'm still here. Let me hit share again. Ding, 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 ding. Wow. My memory must be getting ate up. Yeah. That ain't what I want to share. I'm trying to share everything. Let's start over. It shouldn't be a blank screen. Let me go back over there. What the heck? Oh, the site I was trying to flip to crashed. That was probably. It's trying to reload. Oh, yeah. This is a warning from my friends in the United Kingdom. Y'all need to see this. Hang on. It's one of those British probably sites. Let's see if we can get back in here. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it's the Telegraph. That Telegraph rag is one of those that's a problem to open. Iranian networks linked to Revolutionary Guard operating openly in the United Kingdom. That is not good, my friends that are over there. That is not good. The Moab is the only effective at the entrance is true. And I'm gonna tell you now, there's been some talk. I didn't pull up the article on it. There's some talk of development of a new nuclear bunker buster. You might recall that it under W. Bush, they were developing a nuclear bunker buster, but apparently that program didn't go all the way through. So they're either modified that and picked up or they're starting afresh, but they're looking at some kind of a small scale nuke that you would drop from B 2, B 21 type bomber, and it would be nuclear. That may be the only way to get to some of these facilities because some of them are so deep that our conventional weapons will not get to them. If they're really serious about taking out the underground nuclear storage stuff, if you don't put boots on the ground, that's the only way to do it. Either way, it's got a lot of political blowback, but a small nuke blown up underground, even though it's a nuke, is still not a strategic nuke. It's not a nuke that's going to be aimed at the population, and most of the radiation will be contained fairly well within the area. It won't be like a lot of fallout spreading for a long distance unless the explosion is close to the surface. If it occurs deep underground, it'll be mostly contained, kind of like the underground test that's been going on around the world for the last few decades instead of above ground. Of course, we stopped doing that too with the test ban treaty, but that treaty has expired, and North Korea has been doing it on their own. Anyway, all that said, but my friends in the United Kingdom need to know this. We get a few people watching from UK. I wonder if we get anybody from the UK in here tonight. If we do, speak up. Uh, Tories demand clamp down on terrorist narratives that threaten our country. Yeah, I bet Starmer won't do nothing about it if it's left to him. Starmer has got to be. He and Mike Carney are two weaklings. Okay, what's happening here? We're going to open something new. And the U.S. Embassy warns citizens in UK as threat level is raised to severe. Now, the UK declared that their threat level was severe. All right, I'm in Scotland. I'd love you to do a live with Scottish Prepper 73. I haven't heard of him. Scottish Prepper 73 and UK Urban Arena Prepper. It'd be great to have a US UK perspective on world events and prepping. Well, I'll have to check that out, Alex. That's interesting. You're in Scotland. Well, I got some ancestry from Scotland, but apparently most of them were from the Nordic invaders, it seems, at least on my mom's side. Because her bloodline comes back like pure Nordic. My dad's Scottish ancestor, I don't know how that comes up. We have had only 23andMe test was done on one of my cousins on my mom's side. But anyway, you might know I'm from the southern states in the Appalachia area, and it's almost all Scot-Irish. And Scot-Irish is not Irish; it's Scottish. It got resettled in Scotland, and then went to America. So a lot of kindred blood there, probably with people in Scotland. Yeah, hence the strawberry blonde hair here. Anyway, uh, so there is a threat there in the United Kingdom, big threat. Uh, Even the United Kingdom's had, well, guys, you leave your borders wide open. You let everybody in, just like the United States has done. And what do you get? What do you get? And if we lose in the midterms, we're going to get a lot more of that right here. They're going to throw the borders wide open, wide open. Oh, Carville is talking about if the Democrats take power again, he says they're going to make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico states. And the whole plan for doing that is so that they can not only have a few more members of the House of Representatives, but they will absolutely dominate the Senate and have more sway in electoral. They're trying to get rid of the Electoral College too. So they're trying to set it up to have permanent power. And oh boy, you have no idea what that's going to roll in. No idea. In any event, my friends. I hope my friends in the United Kingdom are paying attention to this threat level. You're now classified as under severe threat. Oh, yeah. And U.S. citizens have been told to avoid public places, shopping malls, crowds, and that's the kind of alert there against people in the United Kingdom. Something I've warned you guys about here anyway, because those are the places that'll be targeted. And I know most of y'all did not watch my video where I talked about the ag drones that could fly around and spray people. Good reason to stay away from crowd places. I covered that. And I also covered the threats to our power grid. Okay, what is happening here? Something is not coming through like I ought to. Okay, now it's going through. Yeah, sometimes these websites hang up. Any other new news? Trump's teasing that the U.S. will be taking over Cuba almost immediately. So Cuba is the next target. Are we going to go for that while we're still engaged in Iran, or after the Iranian thing is over? Apparently, the Congress, or at least the Republican side, actually gave them the green light on this. There's another article out which I'm not open. Okay, well, click on the next tab and nothing is happening. There it goes. It's slow tonight. Slow, slow, slow. All right, come on, load. Now, May Day, communist and socialist groups call for revolution and seizure of property at Minneapolis May Day rally. My friends, if you've got a homestead, if you've got a farm, if you own a house, that is not what the socialists and communists want. They would throw you over to the lights of cloud. See, here's the thing: a lot of your uber rich billionaires are promoting socialism and communism. It's because the version of socialism and communism that they got planned for you is not socialism and communism. It's neo-feudalism. But then that's what communism always is anyway. It's always just a restack, and the party apparatchik runs things with some big leader, but they're going to set themselves up to be that party apparatchik. So they're still going to have, yeah, they will still own what they own, and you will be the renter. So all these guys got these big dreams, thinking that this is the solution to everything, as they typically do. Useful fools that they are. I'm serious, guys. Look at this here: Revolutionary Communists for America. And this may seem radical to you guys, and you may think, nah, this is not happening. But just look at how the communists are taking over the Democratic Party more and more. Look at Mandami in New York. Look at AOC. And some few of you are on my Facebook groups, and you see some of the people that I'm wrestling with and the chat comments in my Facebook posts. Some of the stuff they post is unreal. Unreal. And they will argue till the cows come home. They just keep throwing out junk statistics, junk ideas, or they just attack, blabbering attack. No, nothing other than hot air. So I'm getting a lot of hot occultism. Yes, I'm catching so much hot air. It's unbelievable. Some of these guys, couple of you have went and chimed in, like Stan Granville, who's a subscriber in here. It says, well, why don't you just ban these guys? If I could do it, I can ban them. So, well, they're actually unwittingly performing a service, because by them blathering and carrying on, they're showing you who they really are, that these people exist. Because most of us tend to talk to people that agree with us. Most of us live in echo chambers. And so this is a unique way to see what the other side's really thinking. And it is back guano crazy. Back guano crazy. And a lot of it is pure venom and hatred. There's a certain well-renowned Hugo Prize winning science fiction author who is attacking me left and right, and he is throwing out all kind of vile Yiddish and Hebrew curse words at me, accusing me of being a socialist and communist and a Kremlin boy, which is I find to be rather interesting, since it was his granddad that fought for the Russian army. And everything I'm doing is to oppose socialism. So this guy is off his rocker, but yet I'm not going to go into that any further, but those that's actually on my Facebook group, you'll know what I'm talking about. This guy he comes in screaming and venting and cussing. And it's like, okay, I thought an author, was supposed to had good linguistic and language controls and didn't have to revert to such mess. It just shows you how their brains operate. It's vile, it's mean, it's nasty, it's violent. I wouldn't be surprised. Some people tell me I need to watch myself because of my proximity to the people that's been eliminated due to knowledge of UFOs, like Ning Lee and Amy Eskridge. I'm more worried about people like that guy who's just so unhinged that he might try to do something. Either way, I got a worm farm. My worms get hungry. If they want to contribute to the feedstock, that's their choice. So that's all I got to say about that matter. Horse Gump. That's all I got to say about that matter. All right, guys, let's move on. Y'all should know what I mean by that. Pardon me, guys. Well, guys, we are moving into strange times. Hey, I don't wish nobody do anything crazy like that, but if they're determined to do it, ain't no pushover. Ain't no pushover. uh, but we are in some strange times now. This now they got this uh, robotic factory in California called 1X. The company is 1X. They're producing a humanoid robot called the NEO. Now, we're already a quarter of the way, no, a third of the way into 2026. So within the remaining months of the year, this year, they're planning to produce 100,000 NEO robots. And Tesla's going to be right behind them. See, Shelley is throwing the thumbs up. Yeah, don't worm dirt. Exactly. If you want to become worm poop, just come mess with me. If you want to be worm poop, just come mess with me. My worms are hungry. I'd highly advise you not to try it, but I do need worm feed. So if you want to donate to the cause, just come on. But I'd highly advise you not to do it. You know, but like I said, if you just want to donate to the cause, make the ultimate donation to the worm farm. Anyway, but it's not something I'm asking for. But my worms do get hungry. All right, so 100,000 robots by 2027. That means this year. Now they got a suit on that thing. Now it may be they put a suit over it just because it's so dang ugly underneath all the mechanisms. Maybe it makes it look more humanoid, or maybe it's somebody. Of course, look at that hand. Now, that's not a person's hand. It does stand like a person, though, don't it, in that picture? So we shall see. They're in Hayward, California. 100,000 guys. The robot world is about to change really fast. Are you guys Zog meat riders? What is Zog meat? I don't know what that is. So I'm going to read the chat room here in just a minute, guys. Uh, I'll read the chat. Castle laws. Well, I'm going to tell you what, out here in Arizona on the homesteads, people don't go poking around because they know better. Out here, you go poking around, you just might not be heard from again. You leave the homesteaders out here alone. That is the bottom line. You just don't go sticking your nose in because you may not have a nose for long if you keep that up. No, it's a kind of an understood thing because, Well, I'm remote. You know, calling in a sheriff ain't something you can count on out here in a timely manner. So people got to take care of their own business. And I got all kind of business taking care, all kind of tools to take care of business, folks. All right, we're almost done with the news. We having some earthquakes, lots of shaking going on. Nothing over a five, nothing up to 6 point range. Here's in Japan's a 5.7. We got over here in New Zealand a 5.1. A lot of stuff around Indonesia. Wow, that place is shaking as usual. Japan. Oops, what I want to do. Sometimes I just don't scroll the way I want it to. If you look over here, Ring of Fire is active. A lot of stuff up and down the Aleutians and the peninsula there with Alaska. Our Puerto Rican friends are dancing real hard as usual. Man, the place is always shaking. And we got one down here in southern Texas, Pearshaw. Anybody been to Pearshaw? And this must be Silver Creek, Nevada. Let's click on that. Looks like there's 2 earthquakes there. It's usually one a day, but looks like we got 2 here, 2 circles. Silver Springs, yeah, Silver Springs, Nevada. They're having daily earthquakes there, have been for some time. And I'm starting to see some articles out there that are suggesting that Nevada's splitting apart right there. Kind of like a rift is trying to form. Is Nevada? Hey, Kim, how you doing? How you doing, Kim? So what is going on with Silver Springs, Nevada? We keep seeing earthquakes there. And this one is close to San Andreas, almost to this vertex here where the Juan de Fuca plate comes in, but it looks like it's a little bit off the vertex this time. That vertex one gets a lot of earthquakes. Covello, is that how you say it? California? And there's several up down through here that may be on the fault line there. Wow, look at all these earthquakes. Puerto Rico, are some of these over in the Virgin Islands? What's that one at? Puerto Rico, San Juan. I've been to San Juan once. I've never been to San Two. Been to San Juan, but not San Two. There's the one in the Virgin Islands. Hey, anyway, rocking. Been to the Virgin Islands. That was a long time ago when I was out there. And we're going to get space weather. Space weather here, guys. What they're saying is there's a lot of sunspots, but they're all small and they don't have any stored. Oh, I didn't want to go there. Stored magnetic unstable field lines. So they're saying we don't really have a threat from solar flares right now. But we're not in a grand solar minimum because we got a ton of sunspots up there. Ton of them. This has been a very active cycle. Like I predicted several years before the cycle, when everybody was saying we want more sunspots, I said, "Nope, it's coming. It's coming." And indeed, we got them. So, coming pan stars. And so we go down here to the asteroid report. In the upcoming days of the 3rd of May and forward, there's nothing that we know of that's passing between the Earth and the Moon. Of course, we always find those right after they pass through, like these guys. But there's less asteroids on this chart today than usual. All right. I've got some videos. You guys, if you haven't seen them, I want y'all to tell me if you didn't get a notice for these videos. All right, let's scroll down because the viewership on these videos is like way down. Grid under attack. I've had a bunch of people says, Greg, how come you aren't doing power grid videos anymore? I've been getting requests. Do some more videos on the power grid. Bingo, there it is. This is one of the biggest threats to our power grid. And this threat is incredibly easy to execute. The consequences could be horrendous. And I brought it to you like I ain't heard any other YouTube channel cover this. Yet I got 693 views. Pretty pathetic. You know, just to show you guys that, videos I was doing 10 months ago were getting 1,800 views or 1,300 views. And so this is a lot less. My viewership is dropping almost day by day. It's pretty even like right now. Usually I'd have 80 something, 90 something people in the chat room. I only got 64 in the chat room right now. My viewership is dropping. If y'all didn't get a notice to this video, put a 1 in the chat room. I like to see anybody didn't get a notice. If you did get a video notice, put a 2 in the chat room. I like to know if you got a notice for this video. Because one of the guys that left a comment here says, I've not seen you in my feeds in a long time. He was happy to see it, happy to watch it. But, that's not good. That is not good to see people not getting notifications. So I'd like to know where you guys are at. I get all notifications. That's good to know all of a sudden you're always here. Mudslinger saw it. And so there's 2 videos in this series. This is the first one. They stole something. I'm talking about 15 agricultural drones that were stolen. They were recovered, but the way that they were stolen was highly professional. Okay, Justin, Arizona didn't see it. Okay. So some of my people saw it, some are regulars, some didn't. I hit the bell regularly. All right, good, all of a sudden. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Go back, double check. People get unsubscribed all the time. And bang the bell and click all. That'll help. Okay, there's another one didn't see it. So we've had several that didn't see it. And maybe that explains part of it. Guys, these are 2 videos you're going to want to watch. They're really warning you about 2 big threats to our nation. The X-Sprayer drones are huge. They can cover 15 acres in 7 to 8 minutes with potential toxins that could take you out. And when you take a fleet of them, that's really dangerous. Now, have they taken other fleets? How many maybe they just bought? If you got some of these bad guys with ill intent, we do know there's big guys out there that fund a lot of nefarious activities in this country to the tune of millions and millions of dollars a year. They could easily finance a huge fleet of these things. And all this stuff also makes you want to ask about what were those New Jersey drones? Because this actually happened in New Jersey, of all places. In New Jersey. I had a buddy who was a Peruvian. He was in the Army with me at Fort Greely, Alaska. And he wouldn't say he had lived in New Jersey. He'd call it New Jersey. New Jersey. He'd always laugh, it was here during the Reagan days when Reagan was supposed to cut back some on the food stamp programs. He'd laugh. He says, people starving in America. Nobody's starving in America. That's what he'd laugh at. Anyway, he is a character. Good guy. So grid under attack. How vulnerable our power grid is to drone attacks is mind-boggling. So these go in together. I was planning to do a third one talking about other threats to our infrastructure and military bases from drones. And I may go ahead and produce it just so I can have the text to combine to develop with my balloon warfare text, the EMP balloon threat text. I may put out a book, and I may include this in other power grid risk products I may produce down the road. But when you make 25 cents an hour, you really got to question what the heck you're doing on here. So something to think about. So do go in and watch these videos, please, guys. This is got information you need to know. And here's some of the product safety videos I was talking about. I got those in here. Well, one thing you can always do, if you're on a computer, you can come to my website. You can check it regularly just to see if you're not getting notifications. That's one way to know if you missed something. You can just get videos. and that'll show the latest videos. You can go the oldest videos or the most popular videos. But you can see I've done some product safety videos and other things. Anyway, it's late, and I got to get up early. It's 2 a.m. So that concludes the news portion of this program. For our Coffee Club members, we made it just slightly over an hour at 64 minutes. So for those of you it's getting up in the morning, getting ready for church, that's not too long. It's Sunday morning, folks are getting ready. Yep, last day off before they have to go back to Monday. Anyway, now I normally get a pretty good crowd, even on Saturday, this time. I used to get more viewers than I got now. So, like I said, my views are dropping and just keep dropping more and more and more. So, now that, don't know why, but they're dropping. So, if any of you guys got some insight into that, sure. If there's something you don't like that I'm covering, tell me about it. Of course, some of the people might not have liked it that I, took the stand I'm taking on Iran right now. I was not forced going in to start with, but now that we're in it, we need to win it. And I've covered the whys in other videos. I've gone into that, the whys. So we had several people. We had two people here that did not get a notification of that. Two said no, and two said yes. Looks like it's kind of split in the votes I got so far. Interesting. One of the first videos Greg is showing is the Chinese ships full of robots. Yeah. I've covered this robot thing. I've said China would roboticize. People thought that was nuts. And I showed how they would pay to do that, even as their economy crashed, how they would pay for it, how they could pay for it. And several reasons they'd want to do that. And in fact, the survival of their country probably depends on it because a lot of people said that China would cease to exist in 10 years. Peter Zeihan, one of the best geopolitical analysts in the world, don't always get it right because he's been saying for 15 years that China would cease to exist in 10 years. Right, so his first predictions that were definitely off. And I would say robotics, how do you say that? Roboticification. Well, I can't say that. The way that they're developing the robots is going to mitigate a lot of the risk that he's talking about. Now, they're still got economic risk. They're still in a world of hurt right now. But the robots could pull them out of a lot of this mayhem. So, and it could put China on a foot to being able to dominate the world industrially and to attack. And that's, let's see, where's the video he's talking about there? Yeah, so I did cover that. There's a whole bunch of product safety stuff, chemical lab stuff. I warned you guys about the bio labs from China. There's a toxic overload. That's talking about the stuff that's in your toothpaste, not toothpaste. This is the one is on dish detergent. Chemicals aren't even labeled. In this video, guys, if you ain't seen this video, you need to. Oh, they don't even have 1,000 views. Y'all really need to see that video. Their plan for you. I go into Noah Harari, I think, in that video. Y'all need to see that stuff on him. Hey, Tim, how you doing? All right. So just got notified. Yeah, we've been on over an hour. It's like I said, the notifications are lagging for me here. Yeah, we just gone through the news. We're about to hit the chat room and we'll do the egg guess. I'm just showing guys some videos I need. So there's the toxic toothpaste video. I'm planning to do more toxic product videos like that one. So I covered some interesting news here. China to attack you. I don't see the robots here. And that one, maybe it was over here when I had it on home page. I don't know. There it is. Chinese super soldiers. Now, this is not the robots. This is their genetic super soldier program. Yeah, something else to watch out for. I've covered things that I ain't seen nobody else on YouTube talk about. I've not seen anybody that's going the level of detail I've gone into about nuclear survival. Not even close. So I have seen channels that come out that a lot of people say, "Oh, you need to watch this guy. He knows what he's talking about." I go over and look at that video. I've had one video, particular, a lot of people say, "This guy's the one you need to watch. He knows what he's talking about." Blah blah blah. I'll go and watch that guy's channel, and he's talking about targets or well, these are the targets. Blah 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 blah, and he was naming military bases. He was getting the states on this base and is in blah blah, and he even put it in the wrong state. And a lot of the military bases he was citing off were already closed. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. This is the guy I'm supposed to watch? He's an idiot. Oh my God. Guys, but the idiots are the one that get all the views. I'm serious. The idiots get all the views. Talking about bases that are, citing threats to bases that are closed, power plants that have been shut down. That means that person doesn't have a clue. And yet people will think, because they come on and they sound authoritarian, they know what they're talking about, and they talk real fast and they name off all of this stuff. People think they're smart. Well, sometimes they're abject idiots. But the ones that really get me, I watched some channel today. This guy, all he did was play Fox News. And, you're supposed to editorialize a video. He did play them longer than he's supposed to, by the way. He's at copyright risk. His channel's way bigger than mine. Got, 70,000 views for a video about 2 hours old. And all he's doing is playing a news channel and go, wow, yeah, you better watch that. He was editorializing. His editorializations was about as smart as a bag of hammers. Yeah, wow. Oh, well, you can watch it occasionally when he'd stop paying a snip, and he might say two sentences that were perhaps halfway cogent. And my head just blowing up. Wow, I'm doing something really wrong here. I'm doing something really wrong here. Anyway, guys, so welcome to Greg's chat, Mr. Tim Casper, the friendly ghost supporter. All right, guys. So, all right, we can go to our chat room. I'll go into the chat room, read the chat room, and stop all these shares. Well, yeah, I'm kind of animated. Nuclear bug out zones. Surviving nuclear war. I had to break it down in two parts. Very technical, maybe too technical for a lot of people. That's my top video, right? No, that's not it. That's it right there. Top video on this channel. 535,000 worms. Still gets views. If I do the last few worm videos I did tanked. Not really. What am I supposed to do videos on? Stop the share. I'm going to read the chat room. Read through it quickly, I hope. Time is already getting away from me. Where's the chat room? It's over here on this tab. Wow, if I can get it open. Come on, browser. Ding, 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 ding. Let me open this up some. I may have to read it on my laptop beside me. All right. See Shelley, first one to comment tonight. All the sun. Okie Water Girl. Good to see all you in the house. Arnold. Arnold, we missed you a few videos. We missed you on some. Maybe you didn't get the notifications. Thank you, Gregory, for your constant insights and sharing of your love and intent. Well, thank you there, Thomas. My back hurts. That's a funny name. My back hurts one. China could probably build an oil gas pipeline to Iran in 6 months if they had to. Pipelines don't move near as much as ships. They were trying to build a rail line to move oil. and the rail line got decimated by the Israelis. So that didn't work out for them. But in 6 months, they're going to be in a world of hurt over there. I certainly hope there's no clone of me running around the planet. Oh, oh, one of a kind. My county sheriff department has an MRAP. The county has 50,000 people. Wow, back hurts. I wonder where you're at. Yeah. Well, the military gave a lot of those away to local law enforcement. I mean, what's the MRAP made for? It's made for an attack from the IED. Well, so far, nobody's attacking sheriff departments with the IEDs. I don't know, that day may come, but right now, we're not there. Uh, and if what Greg is showing us isn't bad enough, there's a 70% projected loss of farmers being able to put in seeds. Yeah, guys, that is one big downside of what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz. We got some other agricultural challenges right now. It's reported that boxes or ticks are showing up on farms all over the country and out in woods and forests, like they're being airdropped in or something. Boxes of ticks. And there's a certain person out there who's trying to promote artificial meat, and maybe he's behind some of this because some of these ticks are the Lone Star tick. The Lone Star tick has a big white dot in the center of its abdomen. I've never seen one. Apparently, these things are carrying that disease that if it bites you, you become allergic, highly, deathly allergic to meat and dairy products. So much so that eating some could take you out, put you to pushing daisies. And it's just crazy, guys. It's just crazy. And somebody actually went on the internet suggested this is what we need to do. We need to spread these ticks so people don't eat so much meat. Yeah. I don't know, guys. That's scary. That's nefarious. Like Lyme disease. Where did Lyme disease come from? Hey, so glad, Jules. How you doing? Good to see you in the house. So let's scroll through here. Junkyard Cybertruck. Junkyard Cybertruck. That's a funny one. All right. I hope I can find to see Scottish Prepper 73, UK Urban Prepper. I'm gonna have to look for those guys. How do you contact them? You got an email from them for them? Oh my! I just dropped way down. There it is. I hate it when I'm scrolling a little bit and it just jumps to the bottom. See what happens to Greg's ancestors when they don't clean up their bedrooms? What? No allowance given until they clean their bedrooms. Oh, he wants a new resort island. Well, he's trying to get China and Russia out of our hemisphere. Now, a lot of people say that all this Venezuela and Iran stuff's about oil. Oil's part of it in a bigger geopolitical sense of dealing with China. But China is obviously an initial target because their first target was the Panama Canal, which had Chinese companies controlling it. I'll donate in other ways. There you go, Kim. I appreciate it. You've been very generous. Kim has been my most generous supporter lately in this channel. So salute to Kim. Kim Possible, very generous. That's one reason I'm staying in here. Yes. So, yeah, a lot of times she's working and can't chat. She'll be lurking in the back of the room, but uh, just Arizona. All right. There is another YouTube channel called Just in Arizona. A guy goes around the state and covers things in Arizona. It's a good channel. It's a good channel. I watched them a few times. One of the best videos is Greg showing the Chinese ships full of. Oh, I thought you said it was one that I was bringing up. Yeah, I've actually done two videos on that topic. One specifically, and this was probably about 3 years ago. I actually figured out how many men you could comfortably put in an ISO shipping container that could stay in the supplies provisions to keep in there for a few weeks or for the amount of time it'd take to transit the ocean. And it's doable. And on these big ships with these so many ISO shipping as you can pack so many troops, it's unbelievable. So yeah, they could invade America. But the biggest threat is the bio threat I've been covering lately. Y'all need to watch those videos, my friends. I just made homemade mouthwash with herbs. Well, that's good, Rosemary. That's the best kind you can use. It could be the web of internet towers and relays. Could be. Marking and potential. Not all can add 1+1. True. But if you go 1 and 1 is 3, you're going to get a lot more viewers. Sad but true. How many YouTubers uh, are actual rocket scientists? Served the military, grew up reading military strategy books when they were in middle school. Very few. There are space channels, but I don't know any of the YouTubers on the space channels that actually ever built a rocket. Well, guess what? I got one. No, I don't wake my cat up. I got a rocket motor right here. My cat's sleeping right down there. Oh, I think I just woke her up. I'll be climbing on me here in a minute. Yeah, the Silk Road. Well, if Iran falls out of the influence of China, China is going to lose the centerpiece of their Silk Road. I'm telling you, this could really change geopolitics hugely, hugely. How come this isn't? Uh, let's buy another device to grease the lights. Okay. If you hadn't thrown a thumbs up, please throw up a thumbs up. I mean, there's some things y'all can do that even when you're being repressed does factor into the algorithms. And part of it is just how you guys activate and participate in the channel. So go in after I post a video and please leave a comment somebody else's comment, like somebody else's comment. I saw y'all doing it recently when I asked for it. Make sure you do that and share my videos. I guess some of you guys do that. Please share my videos. We need all the help we can get over here because this network is trying to knock me down. 1+1 equals 4. Yeah, if I come out 1 and 1 is 3. He's so good looking, he's too hard to see. Yeah, that would get me a lot of views, maybe. I don't know. My singing probably won't carry the channel though. I've done some over on my Soulhead News channel. Uh, Thumbs up for this account as well. Thank you. Appreciate that, Kim. Got two Kims. Oh, this is Kim Possible's other account. Oh, we got two Kim accounts. Okay. All right, Kim. Kim Landry, Kim Possible. Appreciate it. All righty. Now we know. Now we know Kim Landry and Kim Possible. Yeah, that's your name, actually. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Appreciate that. So, what we're going to do here are 1+1 equal 2. If I tell them that they would call me a shill. You're a shill for the mathematicians for big academia. Oh, something like that, probably. I don't know. We all need, all we need now is for Norway and Cha-Cha, Norwood, and many others to magically appear this morning. We got Scotland in the house tonight. All right, folks, before we do the egg count, everybody tell us where you're from. Because these crazy hours, oh, we got more people coming in the chat room now. Typically, the longer I stay, the more people get in the chat room. That's the funny thing. If I stay really late, I get more people. Usually up to 83 now. I only got 22 thumbs up. Let me double hit the refresh button, see if that's the right count. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Where's everybody from? We got Chico, California. Hey there, Worco Sanchez. All right, this thing is updating. It's not updated yet. We got Southern Maine. Oh, wow. The rain in Maine stays mainly on the plains, so you're not too far from New Days. Australia. All right. Down under, Rosemarie. Appreciate that. Southeast Wisco, Wisconsin there. Tim. All right, Tim Casper. Man, wouldn't it be weird if a Tim Waltz came in? That would be scary. Magic Valley, Idaho. Ooh, that's where you at now. Solzai used to be not far from where I'm at. How come this page is not updating? It just froze. It's a refresh. Try to get, let me hit it again. Okay. Kentucky. Kentucky ready. 5 hours from New Days. Okay, y'all got that worked out. I always support your content. Thank you, Rosemarie. Appreciate that. Yeah, I need some help nowadays. My channel is suffering. You'd think it would be doing better. But all right, we got 67 thumbs up. We got 83 in the house. So, all right, folks. And I assume we've had probably 300 in the house overall tonight. So, folks, give me some thumbs up. All righty, folks. We've gone through that. So, it is egg guess time. How many eggs to harvest today? How many eggs did I get today? It's guess time. How many eggs did I get today from my hens? How many did I harvest? I got them right here. So this is our game time. It's game time. 10 eggs. That's what I should be getting. 6 is a typical number, but not tonight. Oh my gosh, I wish it's 14. Nobody's guessed it yet. Keep going. Nope, not 8, Stray. There it is. Just Arizona got it. It's 5. Just Arizona guessed, right. So just Arizona got it. 5 eggs. 5 eggs today. All right. I had 6 yesterday, 6 before. Might have had 8 before that. I think 6 seemed to be my average number, which is pretty low considering the time of the year and how many hens I got. I should be getting more eggs. All right, stop guessing. We got the next guess to come up. When the numbers quit rolling for a little bit, I'll ask the question. But I'll give it a few minutes. Make sure we don't get the 2 guesses confused. All right. There you go. See, Shelley, giving a word to Just Arizona. Okay, we know now the total is 5. So that 5, how many of them are Easter eggs? How many are Easter eggs today? All right, that's the next guess. How many Easter eggs? 5 total. Out of that 5, there's a certain number of Easter eggs. Keep going. All righty. Just Arizona. You got it again. So as I had the number, but just Arizona beat you to it. 3 Easter eggs out of 5. That means the majority of them are Easter eggs, which is unusual. It was 3. Just Arizona got it. So Just Arizona got both guesses tonight. So salute to Just Arizona. The award goes to you. All right. Just Arizona got it. All right, guys, we'll show you the eggs here in a minute. Let me minimize the screen so I can see what I'm showing you. Yeah, double award to Just Arizona. How about that? And indeed, just 5 eggs. And this one, and that one are Easter eggs. I don't have any of the big brown speckled eggs I usually get from my dominant eckers. I think my dominant eckers want on strike. Or maybe they want to join the stew pot. I got one leghorn hen. She's supposed to be laying white eggs. I don't think she's laid more than 2 eggs since I had her. So I think I'm going to name her stew pot. She is not covering her load. I don't know. My hens are probably getting low. That's probably the problem. Because Just Arizona cheated. Self-paid trip to lost wages. That's right, Arnold. That's what you want. You pay your own way, you can go to lost wages. Lose. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. No, hey, I've gone there and just walked up and down the side, the street and watched the street shows, half a gamble. They do have some good buffets. I interviewed for a job there several years ago. I had a friend lived in Vegas. I used to go occasionally to see back when I'd be sent to California for TDY trips. All righty. So we've, thank you for everything you do, Greg. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I try to be amicable. I try to be most friendly most of the time. I try to be upbeat, even though we cover some scary topics. I do try to maintain a sense of humor. Now my voice sounds, I don't know, it's just something about my voice. It comes across because I got a deep voice and I speak fast, choppy, and just the way I accent things, the way I highlight. How do you say that? When I listen to myself, I was like, oh, that sounds horrible. It just make me sound mean. I'm not that way. If you know me, you know I'm not like that. But it's the way, the tempo, just kind of the way I'm wired, the way I talk. Some people, it comes across wrong. Some people don't get it. And some people think I'm mad. One time when I was a kid, I was talking to this girl, and she busted out crying. And I didn't know, why are you crying? And she says, obviously you're mad at me. I said, I'm not mad. I'm glad. I was actually pretty happy about things. I was just excited. And a lot of people just take me wrong. My voice is great for public speaking. I can get on the stage and project crowds. And I've spoke before 700 people on multiple occasions. Don't need loudspeakers and mics. My voice I can project. But when they're talking one-on-one, that kind of voice don't work out so good. It might be rough on those cats, get you a little ornery. Yeah, when they're tearing the house up and tearing me up and running around, it's kind of rough. Sleep right now, that's good business. Anyway, guys, but those that watch me know me. You know what I'm really like. You've watched enough. I try to bring you the truth. I try to bring you analysis like others don't bring. I'm not just reading or showing. There are channels that do nothing but read articles. They read them verbatim, blah, 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 blah. And you might think the guy's talking off the top of his head. But I just read that article, and this guy's quoting it word for word all the way down. You ain't supposed to do that. Or playing videos of other channels or news channels. It's like, somebody will watch that, they could just go watch it on the news channel. But yet those channels blow up, they get big. Maybe that's what I need to do. But I try to tell you guys what it really means, what's actually happening. It's like this whole thing of the immortals. Is it real or not? Most people putting it out there, they're saying this is what it is. Absolutely. Maybe, maybe. I think it's more likely than not, but I'm not going, yeah, I am tired. That's true. Veronica, how you doing? You're tired too. I get it. It is late here. It is 2:35 in the morning. It's gonna take me an hour just to get in bed. And then the sun's coming up a couple hours later. The sun comes up at 5:30 in the morning here. And my rooster is gonna be crowing like an hour before then. If I can't fall asleep before that rooster starts crowing, I'm in trouble. If I'm already sleeping, that rooster's crowing, it's not gonna wake me up. But if that rooster's crowing before I fall asleep, forget it. I'm doomed. Uh, you've been up almost every day this week until 3 or 4. True. It does make it hard to do stuff. We're on a yard sale. Oh, yeah, you usually have to get up early for yard sale stuff. Well, alrighty, folks, we're going to call it a night. I'm kind of hoarse lately. Didn't swallow horse. I don't know why I'm hoarse. My water's gone. Mm. As I drink that, try to keep my vocal cords. I'll drink a cup of coffee and a cup of water just since we started this video. And I had a half a cup of each just prior to starting it. So Mother Nature's going to be screaming at me in a few minutes. So, okay, get rid of it. Uh, it's 4:30 here in Bama. Yeah, I know that's true. Actually, this computer's still got Bama time on it. Bama time. Doon, 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 doon. You can't touch this like hammer time. Greg, I saw an email that was supposedly written by Amy discussing the untimely deaths of the Greys as well. Can you tell us the validity of that? Now, she talked about, I believe it's P-42s and P-57s. Now, what that meant was present time plus, I think it was 1,000 years. That she had indications that something was coming in the future back. And there was like 2 different time frames in which things came from the future back. That was her impression. My impression of Greys is they're what most people would call demons. The abduction phenomenology matches with the phenomenology recorded from at least a couple thousand years back, probably, of incubus and succubus. It goes the same phenomenology described way back. The phenomenology of the so-called George Washington vision might not have been demons, but the veil he saw in some of these things is something that some experiencers have experienced. Maybe not talked or wrote about, but it rings with some of that. Now, there can be angels and demons, but the the spirit of the skies, the Lord of this world is Satan, according to some. But if you read certain ways of reading the Bible, if you put a rooster in the dark box, you won't crow until you open it. Yeah, it'd be kind of cruel then if I went out there and did that to him. So they flee the name of Jesus. Put that one in the bank. But you got to mean it. You got to feel it. Now, why would aliens from space flee the name of Jesus. I don't think they're in space. I'm not saying there aren't civilizations out there. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking. I was asked about the grays. For the most part, I don't think they're up to any good. Well, am I not denying them? That's another story. A whole nother story. They live in the earth. Bingo. Bingo. Under the ground, in the oceans. Very disturbing. They're not our friends. They are not our friends, and I don't like them. Let's put it that way. They're not our friends. You asked, I told you what I thought. I know more, I'm not talking. Not now. Deception and everything, and Satan and everybody's enemy. Amen, Arnold. Be careful about what you are led to believe. Yeah, they want you to think they're space aliens. They don't want you to think there's anything to biblical or especially God, what I call the greater creator. They don't want you thinking about that. They want you to think they're space aliens. They're real happy with that. They're not. I've noticed a lot of people in government, like Congresswoman Luna. She just refers to them as non-human intelligences. Bingo. But even J.D. Vance come out not too long ago and said he thought they were demons. Oh, a lot of people criticized him for that. Bingo. So they will flee the name of Jesus. Why would a critter from another civilization do that? Something strange. I don't have the answers, but I got some good questions. But there's some things I'm not buying. This idea that we got, hey, there's some strange vehicles flying around. I think I'm going to do a video on Galactic Greg's talking about anti-gravity. Is it real? Anti-gravity UFOs, is it real? We see some strange stuff flying around. What is it? I'll tell you something. There is disembodied spirits, apparently the leftover from the dead Nephilim. That's the spiritual demons. But some of them are physical. They use technology to transit. Interdimensional. And that's more than I should be talking about on here. Anyway, yeah, just don't fall for it. If we get some big, great reveal telling you that we got, okay, here's the story. These guys come from over there or over here. I'm not buying it. Oh, Lori, how you doing? She's a friend from Huntsville, Alabama, come to visit me back when I was at the farmer's market in Madison. So my chat got disconnected for a second. I guess I'm still live. Looks like it. Folks, we're going to call it a night. It's late. It's almost 3 a.m. here. It takes me an hour to process this stuff and get ready and crawl in the sack. So, guys, keep your eyes wide open, head on swivel. We're in interesting times. Get your preps together. Be prepared, my friends. Please be prepared, both physically and spiritually. I always tell you that. Who else tells you that? A few, but not too many. Anyway, thank you, Lori, for the vote of confidence. So, see, Shelley says, I agree that evil presences will flee when commanded to in the name of Jesus, because I had that experience one time. Exactly. That you got to mean it. You got to believe it. Because, if they will think you got some doubt, they will try to condemn you, to make you self-doubt. Yeah. That's what they'll do. Don't let them. None of us are without sin. They'll try to use that against you, but no, they still have to flee. You just have to be resolute, really mean it. And just remember, one of our mottos, I shall not be moved, just like the tree is standing by the water. I shall not be moved. One of my favorite hymns. All right, folks, don't let this stuff sway you. Be steady. Be prepared. Be safe. If the fax machine were invented back in the days of the 1860s, they're hidden from us. What they used to, they had the fax machine in the 1860s? Lord of mine, what was I using mimeographs for back in the 70s and 80s? All righty, folks. Oh, yeah, I'm tired. It's late. I was tired before I started this video. I really thought, do I need to do this? I had been on a few days, so I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. All righty, folks. Thank you for watching. I want to say thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. And thank you, everyone who gave me a thumbs up. And just be sure to share my videos. So, tech, been there before. Anyway, please share my videos and give me the thumbs up on the way out. And make a comment below once I post it. To one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. Some of you guys it's day, some of us here it's night. So, and in honor of Granny Lana, ho, ho, ho.